Hello and welcome to AptCast, a series of pod and webcasts for leaders in finance, where we take a look at current issues facing finance and accounting teams. Today, Aptitude Software Senior Solution Consultant and Insurance Expert Brian Heale will be speaking about one of the key IFRS 17 challenges that finance teams face. This is the second webcast of a 5-part series, with each one addressing a particular IFRS 17 accounting challenge. Today, Brian is talking about multi-GAAP reporting. Brian has over 40 years' experience in the insurance industry and has spent the last 6 years working on Solvency II and IFRS 17 implementations. So over to you, Brian.
Over the past few years, insurers have seen a plethora of regulatory accounting and capital initiatives, such as Solvency II, IFRS 9 and IFRS 17. And of course, this is on top of the existing reporting regime around local GAAP, IFRS 4 and MCEV. Keeping track of all these reporting regimes is challenging, as is explaining the differences, both internally and externally, to shareholders and rating agencies. This is perhaps most notable in terms of Solvency II and IFRS 17, which are two key performance metrics for most insurers. Increasingly, we have seen insurers expressing the need to be able to walk through the various gaps. But this is difficult in practice, as a range of different accounting and posting engines are often used, each aligned to a separate reporting regime. Consequently, there is no consistency in the approaches. This means that to compare the gaps and to understand and explain the deltas, a complex manual process is often utilized. The Aptitude Accounting Hub comprises an accounting rules engine and subledger, and is designed specifically to help insurers automatically process multiple gaps through a common platform. As an example, one of our multinational clients is processing 5 different gaps through the solution. The rest of this webcast looks at how the Aptitude Accounting Hub processes multiple gaps. The Aptitude Accounting Hub operates on the basis of a 3-step accounting process, which I will briefly describe. Firstly, business events. And by this, we mean events that occur relating to a policy or an actuarial model, which result in one or more accounting transactions, are engineered from the data provided from the various source systems and inputs, such as your actuarial engines, general ledgers, administration and claim systems. These business events could be generated using a calculation engine or engineered in the data processing layer. This is a business choice. Secondly, these business events are then mapped to multiple sets of posting patterns, debits and credits, via configurable mapping tables. And thirdly, the sets of posting patterns are then mapped onto the selected chart of accounts, and the results are then stored in the subledger element of the solution as detailed journals and balances. This process is depicted on the diagram you can see. This basic 3-step approach can be applied to a single GAAP, such as IFRS 17, or to support multiple GAAP reporting, which I will now briefly describe. The Accounting Hub processes each generated business event, such as a premium, a claim, or an expense or new business, into multiple accounting transactions aligned to the selected reporting regimes. Thus, correct accounting treatments for multiple gaps are then available as required. The Accounting Hub comes complete with a set of predefined IFRS 17/4 business events, many of which are reusable in relation to other reporting regimes. However, some new business events may need to be formulated, which are specific to a particular reporting regime. For example, under Solvency II, business events for the solvency capital requirement, minimum capital requirement, and risk margin will be required. Posting entries are then configured within the posting driver tables, which are used by the Accounting Hub to generate the accounting debits and credits. In this way, a single business event will generate multiple sets of accounting entries for each gap as required, without the need to replicate the processing logic. As highlighted, Aptitude provides standard templates for IFRS 4 and 17 debit and credit patterns and for insurance products, and these may be used to accelerate the configuration of the accounting hub. The diagram on screen illustrates this process. Each business event is translated into a standard event type, e.g. such as a new business transaction. This is then translated to a group of posting events, which are the 2 or more debit or credit postings required to account for the business event. Finally, an account lookup table using 20 parameters is used to convert the posting code into a unique account code. Multiple posting schemas are used to govern how each business event is then processed to create the accounting events. They are defined at an organizational unit level, such that the different business units within an insurer can utilize and maintain their own schemas. Schemas can also be allocated to a number of different GAAP definitions. It is usual to define a main posting GAAP, e.g. IFRS 17, and then define either local GAAP, Swiss, US or UK GAAP, or a full parallel ledger with a full set of postings for additional gaps. There are no restrictions on the number of gaps which can be deployed. As previously highlighted, the subledger provides a highly granular, thick subledger designed to support granular accounting transactions. The subledger will support any number of parallel GAAP treatments on the basis of either a distinct or shared chart of account structure. Both common charts of accounts and localized chart of accounts postings are possible and maintained by business users using the core posting drivers and account lookup mappings within the accounting hub configuration space. Using the dimensionality available within the subledger, an insurer will therefore be able to load and maintain sets of books recording accounting under both local GAAPs and IFRS 17. Most of Aptitude's clients operate parallel GAAP books, where postings are generated from a single inbound source transaction. Analysis of movements between GAAPs is therefore relatively easy to report on and audit. The diagram below illustrates how a single business event can generate multiple accounting transactions. In this example, the impact of new business is the selected business event. As you can see, it has generated postings for both IFRS 17 and UK GAAP. Equally, Solvency II or MCV postings could have been generated. The subledger supports reconciliation between different GAAPs to allow walking between them. Trial balances at the policy or coverage level are available for each separate GAAP. Thus, a transparent walkthrough between GAAPs is a standard feature of the Aptitude subledger, basing all accounting on a single, consistent dataset. To highlight this, the example illustrates walking between 3 individual GAAPs: US GAAP, an economic GAAP, and a statutory GAAP. The example shows the differences in accounting treatments, and these are highlighted to show the walkthrough. You can see how the same transaction can hit different accounts under different GAAPs. From a conceptual point, you could regard Solvency II as just another GAAP to process through the accounting hub and into the subledger for analysis and reporting, which is, after all, standard functionality in the solution, operating a multi-GAAP, multi-entity, multi-currency environment. In this context, the accounting hub would require input data from the source systems and the results of the Solvency II calculations, typically generated from your actuarial models, such as those of profit. These will then have to be converted into Solvency II business events in the data processing layer or potentially the actuarial engines. Then the accounting hub can be configured to produce the Solvency II accounting transactions and the balance sheet. As we have highlighted previously, a direct reconciliation is not practical due to the scale of the differences between the two regimes. However, a number of our clients are considering plans to develop what they term as a Solvency II versus IFRS 17 comparator. Here, deltas between Solvency II and IFRS 17 can then be evaluated. Differences will be such as the difference between your solvency capital requirement and your contractual service margin, your risk adjustment, your risk margin, different discount rates, different reinsurance treatments, and so on, and a walkthrough comparator developed. This is currently a custom capability in the solution, but we are looking at an approach to be developed jointly with several customers. The diagram on screen illustrates how both Solvency II and IFRS 17 can be processed through the accounting hub. In the diagram, we have depicted Solvency II and IFRS 17 business events generated through the DPL layer, but potentially this could be done in an upstream calculation or actuarial engine. In summary then, parallel reporting under different accounting regimes puts considerable strain on existing finance systems, processes and reporting. Importantly though, it also puts a drain on skilled resources as they have to deal with a lot of manual reconciliations and adjustments. In the medium term, therefore, we think insurers will need to complement their existing accounting and reporting architectures with tools that deal with multi-GAAP reporting and ensure consistency, transparency and control. The Aptitude Accounting Hub is a well-established accounting engine and subledger that helps insurers in a number of important ways. And these include being able to consolidate various outputs from upstream systems into a single source of the truth, to compare and contrast between various data sets and gaps at the click of a button, to achieve the required controls over their data and their results, allowing full drill down to the level of individual journals and transactions. And of course, it can leverage a future-proof solution that can be extended with more gaps and accounting rules as the business grows and accounting standards evolve.
Excellent, and thank you for joining us today, Brian. I look forward to the next 3 webcast episodes looking at other IFRS 17 accounting challenges and future developments in this space. Thank you to everyone listening to AptCast, a Leaders in Finance webcast series. Stay tuned for the next episode.